It takes more than guts to be a gangster. It takes good ideas, and I hope these ideas help you. Hey, what is going on, guys? This is your mob boss, GangsterKT, and man, it has been a minute. So going to talk about what's been going on with the mob. Why I've been a little MIA recently, and hope to correct that. But mainly want to focus this video on what I'm doing in my account right now. So I did get Skrull. I have Big Boy Skrull as of a few days ago. So what am I working on now? That's been my priority for months and my sole focus. So definitely some big shifts in the game. Also want to give a shout out to a member in the mob at the end of this video for an amazing performance on the Goblin trial. I'm going to talk about that as well too. So let's get right into this here. So first off, I wanted to give an update on the mob and why I've been MIA here. So the thing I really wanted to start with, you guys can probably see this really nice full beard I have growing in for No Shave November. Every time I look in the mirror, it's just a constant reminder of how old I'm getting. So I really hate it, but I wanted to share that picture at the top there. My wife keeps sending me that. She says she loves it, but she reminds me how good Chris Pine looks there with that full gray beard. So if nothing else, trying to emulate him a little bit there. But anyways, that's not what you guys care about. So I've just been incredibly busy with work, mainly to be honest. It's really been kind of consuming my head. Had a vacation with my wife in there, which was great. But I'll say I'm really recalibrating in this game right now. Never want to give bad videos or bad advice. Don't want to just do like orb opening videos. Want to make sure all my content really has some teeth to it and is something that helped you guys out. And I'm not at that point right now. Like with how busy I've been having to take a step back from the game. And I'm doing that recalibration myself. I got to do some more practice yesterday for the first time in months, and loved it and trying to get more up to speed there. So seeing signs this will get better for me, and I've missed doing this. So I put that thank you there. A lot of you guys have actually reached out to me, other CCs, just members of the mob, and just want to say I really appreciate that. I'm doing good. Nothing's wrong with me. Just again, been a function of being busy, and not wanting to put out non-valuable content. So again, I do apologize for this. Excited to share with you guys what I'm working on now, and we'll have more videos out soon. So I did get Skrull. He is a game changer, as you know. I finished in 1543 place and want to give a shout out to my alliance mate Pilgrim, who finished one spot ahead of me. We literally finished within about 30 seconds. And then, funny enough, on our timed run, we finished within about an hour of each other. So shout out to Pilgrim. I will say T18 gear is quickly becoming more available, so we see a lot more of it in the strike pass right now. They did take a little bit out of there from what they were doing, but we're still seeing more. We're seeing some of it in lower ranking rewards for events, for different things like that. So it is becoming more available. With that said, if you're still pushing Scroll, I do think it's still worth buying the T18s in the store. If they follow previous trends, they'll double the volume you get for the same price at some point, and I would guess that's coming soon. But he is just so important for Crucible, for War, for Arena, for every game mode there is. So I still think it's worth buying those. But if they become more available, that could change with how valuable gold still is. Also, with them becoming more available, if you're still working on who you're going to take, I do think it's worth focusing more now on tunes maybe that you are using more elsewhere with how valuable that T18 upgrade is, and not just trying to do the cheapest. Before the cheapest might have saved you a couple weeks. But with availability now, that's probably closer to maybe a couple days, depending on the circumstance. So I do think it's worth shifting to focusing on more valuable tunes overall. But guys, I was just so excited to get Scroll. It's what we've been working on for a long time now after Apocalypse. He does change the game. He's a huge help in the bio raids for these new raids and makes that a lot more doable. But I was more excited to start to get using my resources elsewhere again. Start back with the roster optimization that I've always enjoyed so much in this game, and had to take a departure from to focus on Scroll. So I wanted to share now that I have him, what am I working on now? So these are my plans, and I'm going to go through these with you. First thing, and I capitalized it on here so it stood out. If you are not already, use your daily campaign energy to grind the blue and the red teal catalysts. So I do grind Team Loki first. The new guys I need the stars for, so that's where I prioritize. But after that, I am just grinding all catalysts, and I wish I would have started doing it a while ago. Once you get your tunes to scroll, that you need. You're going to be using a lot of these to do that. And then you're going to want to go back and T16 some of those older tunes or T17 them that you've been ignoring to focus on Skrull. And those catalysts go fast. And it's for me right now, the blue's the worst, but the red has been there before. So again, if you aren't doing that, even if you don't have this problem right now, you will, and start grinding those daily. There is nothing better to use that campaign energy for right now. Additionally, after Scrawl, I'm really focusing on going back and T18ing key tunes. And I'll say that's mainly pre-Bifrost tunes because of the T17.5 piece, and we'll talk about that more. Like, for instance, I immediately did Weaver. You know, I hadn't taken her to DD6, and she was my top priority. T18 her as quickly as I can. I did Morgan recently. I did Archangel recently. So kind of those older tunes that don't have the T17.5 dynamic that are still going to be super valuable. That's really where I prioritize because that T18 upgrade, guys, is a 30 to 35% upgrade. It's basically the same as all three levels of diamonds together. Like it's still unprecedented in this game, and figuring out what tunes to T18 after your scroll tunes is one of the most important decisions. So again, I'm doing pre-Bifrost tunes. I did do Tigra for the trial, which ended up being worthless, and I'll talk about that. But also for War and how great New Avengers are there. But Tigra is the one new character that doesn't have the T17.5 piece for some reason, so I had to take her up to T18 to get that huge value. Besides that, I wanted to share this picture of Mockingbird there. So for the newer characters, I'm definitely prioritizing them too. They're the best characters in the game. But I'm actually just doing this T17.5 piece on them, like you can see in that picture, because that's where you get 95% of the damage and the health increase from the overall T18 upgrade, which to me is the most valuable part. So for these newer tunes, you know, I still don't have T18 to take them all up to T18, but I'm doing this T17.5 piece, and I know I'm getting most of the value from that upgrade there, and I'm leaving it. And I might come back and do them when I get more T18s, but I'm really keeping those focused on the newest and best tunes. Um, Additionally, I'm doing Blue ISO 5 on the meta damaging characters. So there's a lot of good guide videos out here. I think most of them are pretty accurate. However, with the Blue 5, it's all about that damage increase you get from it. So, you know, like the regeneration for healers good from it. Like, not that the other things aren't valuable, but the main value is that damage increase. So as you're watching other guides, you're prioritizing your team, really focus on the damagers. I think, you know, guys like a Dormammu or an Omega Red, it's more valuable to do that on than someone like Kamala. Even though Kamala you're using in every game mode is probably a better character at this point, you know, it's not about the damage. So you really want to focus that blue 5 on the damage. Additionally, I'm doing all my new tunes blue 4 at this point. You know, they're the best tunes in the game, so that's just an automatic. I take them up to blue 4. It does sound like from other videos that blue 4 may become the bottleneck. I'm not to that point yet, so that could be short-sighted, but I still have plenty of them right now, and it's a nice, you know, 10% health, focus resistance, and armor upgrade from that blue 4. It's not damage. But so I'm putting that on all my new tunes. And right now, mainly focusing on, you know, Superior 6, obviously, plus like Vulture, Mysterio, some of the great Sinister 6 tunes as well. It is a really good patch, and that I think these tunes you want to build for your roster and for combat versus just like having to build them or having them be so prescriptive. These are really good tunes with the Sinister 6. So that's my plans for right now, and I want to talk about the Goblin Trials a little bit. Guys, I'm beating a dead horse here. I know Dorky's had some really good videos explaining this, but trials are something I've put a ton of effort into before and really prided myself on my performance relative to where I am in the game. And so I just want to beat that dead horse a little bit more and say I was extremely disappointed in this Goblin trial. I finished 1170, which was difficulty 8 all packs, so I was in that huge tie at the start. Was able to increase my efficiency quite a bit throughout that run, and I do feel that efficiency difference like still was a differentiator, but it would have been nice to have more packs. It would have been nice for difficulty 9 to not be such a jump, just so there was more options. You know, on the last two trials, I finished in the top 500 and even top 200 on the Black Cat trial. I'll say the 7 star is nice. I don't think it's really that much of a game changer, but it's more just about the performance and doing well and something I really enjoyed. And this one just did not allow that without making investments that I think are just stupid to make at this point if you didn't already have them. And I started to do it and then quickly realized it was a mistake and stopped. But wanted to share some things. So you can see in the top right there, I'd put that infographic together when they announced new Avengers coming out for this trial because I'd had a lot of luck in the trials and felt I really knew where you'd need to build them based on what to get. And I wanted to do that right away. So I was getting that value in war the whole time, not waiting until the last second. And I did that, guys. Like I had my new Avengers exactly where I wanted them. Tiger and Ronin T18, Mockingbird T17.5. The other two were survivable. But I had the power where I needed it, and I was planned and I was ready. And then this rebirth change just made all that completely worthless. Like I used new Avengers in Note 6 and 10, but the difficulty I was able to do, they were blowing those notes out of the water, and those investments didn't really matter. So I'm getting value out of it in war, but probably wouldn't have taken these guys that high if we'd known about this whole rebirth thing and just how this trial was going to work beforehand. So because I'm stubborn and I really wanted a good score on this, I did put about 15 million gold into my rebirth, and I blew ISO 5 two of them. I cannot take Cap or Peggy to T18, which I know there's maybe one example of this not being needed, but was basically needed for difficulty 10. But the investments I did do allowed me to do difficulty 9 with rebirth, and so I was like, okay, maybe I'll be able to beat the score and get out of this huge tiebreaker. And then I got global blastered. I got through the city villain fine with the new Goblin and with Vulture Big and Doc Ock and Black Cat, the other tunes. Once I got to Global Baster on difficulty 9, it was just such a hard wall again. And I tried, the two perfect sacks to get started where you die from Minerva's hit and you eat the tot cooldowns from calls and you eat Cersei's ult. I did all that stuff and just tried reset and reset. I even took Darkhawk up to D17 level 90, hoping that he may help instead of Phantom X. And it just didn't matter. Like to get past that node at difficulty 9, I was going to have to T18 Archangel, which I've since done, and probably Gambit as well. And again, guys, these are year-old raid tunes. So you probably can't read it, but my mob rules there, I have two that I've always followed. And one is PvP teams as big as needed, and PvP teams as big as possible, PvE as big as needed. And another one is to prioritize the newest characters and draw the line and don't invest below it. And to do well in this trial, I would have had to completely blow those two rules out of the water. And I would have had to invest in all these characters that after the trial and after the current iteration of the raid, when new raid teams come out for Mutant and for Bio, these tunes are going to be completely worthless. So I'm mad I spent that 15 gold. It didn't 15 million gold on Rebirth. It didn't change my score. And I wasn't able to get anything. And that was just the first set of nodes, right? Like I had no clue, even if I did those upgrades, if I'd be able to do no 9 with Global Blasters, which I would have needed to. So just extremely disappointed. Really surprised the tunes they made so important. It was a big departure from the previous trials. And again, I think it favored the Krakens. I think it also favored kind of the middle of the pack, having that rebirth option. So overall, this might have been better for the majority of people, but for the tryhards, for those gunning that I think is a pretty important audience for Scopely, the ones really into this. This was horrible, and it did not feel good. And are we going to trust Scopely when they say, "Hey, you guys need to build your Sinister Six for the next trial"? It's like, yeah, great, until you pull the rug out from under us and change this a week beforehand. So just makes me nervous on relying on this information anymore. Overall, it's okay. I finished with the 6 star. Did want to give a huge shout out to Nemesis. He won our content creator competition. So he did difficulty 8 all packs as well, but did get a higher efficiency score. So he did beat myself. ZKG came in a very close third place, also with that same efficiency tiebreaker, followed by Updog, Gideon, XL, and Bendable Straw. So it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed doing the competition with those guys. And again, huge congrats to Nemesis. So didn't need to give a shout out to one of the members of the mob, and I just love this guy. There's a guy out there named Dementos, and he is just an absolute badass in the game. Like I can't even explain it. So did just want to highlight him. I know at one point he was top 50 in this trial. I'm not sure where he finished. He is a 33 million account, so he does not have the tunes like the Krakens. But it's great about putting the power in the right place. And I'll say on this trial, he spent hours helping me theory craft. Like he sent me this text guide that was unbelievable and better than any other guide I found out there for this trial. He sent me all his team comps, the lineups. Like if he was making videos, this would have been the best guide out there. But you know that really where I find fun in this game, my like own personal goals are trying to over exceed my performance based on my TCP, and just cannot find like a better example of that than what Dementos did on this trial. So even though he did not have the highest TCP as some of these other guys, he absolutely destroyed it. Wanted to highlight him because he is a true badass, and good for you, man. Well done. All right, guys, so that is my video for today. Again, huge apologies for being missing so long, and thank you to those who have reached out. All's good with me. Just need more time. I'm sure we all do, but it's made me realize how much I miss this, how much I enjoy it. So I'm going to try and prioritize getting more videos out, and hopefully work will calm down to allow that. As always, I give you my word that this is the best advice I have. All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. Peace.